Good morning, Sac City. Welcome into another edition of Pigskin and Pancakes presented by the Sac City Podcast. I am your host, the one and only Vinny Milani, joined as always by my best friend in the whole entire world. He is Aaron, the Mukesiah Mukes. And below us, we have ya boy, my boy, and everybody's boy. He is AJ Johnson. It is a beautiful December 4th morning here in the city. Pigskin and Pancakes, another episode coming your way, getting you ready to win your fantasy matchups. Be sure to drop those comments and your lineup decisions in the chat. We will be sure to answer them and help you win your big time matchups. The playoffs are quickly approaching, and every decision counts. So make sure you drop those questions in the chat and let us help you win your matchups today. Gentlemen, we've got a great show today. We've got DFS talk, of course, to cap the show. We've also got some start sits. We've got our draft coming up in a little bit as well. We did some of the things that we did last Sunday earlier on in the week. So if you missed those episodes, shame on you. Be sure to go check those out on our YouTube and TikTok page. But one thing that we did earlier on in the week. Oh, look at this! This is why we come here. This is why we do these things. Comma asks Alan Lazard or Zay Jones. We're doing this right off the jump here, gentlemen. Before we even get to anything, we're doing this off the jump.
Well, I got a question. I got a question for Comma. We can't come up with a better name than Comma? It's just a comma. Is that a comma or an apostrophe, though? I think that's an apostrophe.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
that's the real question. It's not really about Lazard or Zay Jones. It's really about the punctuation. We got you, apostrophe, comma. I think the answer for me here is Zay Jones.
Okay.
Lazard has been kind of inconsistent lately. We're still wondering about the Alan Lazard injury. I think Zay Jones has, over the past few weeks, shown that he's capable of having huge fantasy days. So his ceiling is a lot higher than maybe we thought at the beginning of the season. And I think you get a good matchup here with Detroit. And you couple that with Alan Lazard not being very trustworthy over the past couple of weeks, especially with the emergence of Christian Watson. We've seen Alan Lazard's numbers kind of go down. He has had 2 double-digit targets in the last 4 games, but it hasn't really translated to the production. I think I like Zay Jones here just a little bit more than Alan Lazard. I think today's a heavy run game for the Packers because of Aaron Rodgers' injury, and give me some Zay Jones.
AJ, where are you standing?
I can agree. I think you can, with the matchup that the Jacksonville Jaguars have. I spoke a little earlier about this in the week. I think that's going to be a decent little shootout, and I think Zay Jones has a chance to keep getting peppered with targets. I think actually you should have a pretty good day for both him and Christian Kirk, and stick around. We'll be talking about that for a while.
Okay. All right, so we're going Zay Jones here to help out apostrophe / comma, whichever one it may be. We appreciate the support. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and share the show. We'll be here all morning long, giving you your fantasy advice here. Let's get into some start sits on the week, gentlemen. We'll start off with the quarterback position here, and we'll talk about our starting quarterbacks. Aaron, who you got? Who's your starting quarterback this week?
For me, it's Deshaun Watson. I talked about him early in the season. If you've held on to Deshaun Watson and in anticipation of week 13, I don't see why you would not start him today. There's not going to be a better matchup. It's not like you can find a better team to start him against rather than the Houston Texans. It's a revenge game. First game back after not playing for a while. You get it done before the playoffs. The only way you're fading him really is if you're fighting for a playoff spot and maybe you need another win today for sure to get in and you have a better option. But, I mean, it's Deshaun Watson. He should still use his legs. I don't think anything's wrong with his legs. I think it might take him a minute in the game to get into rhythm, but I think with Amari Cooper and what we've seen from Donovan Peoples-Jones and then David Njoku over the past month or so, I think there's good enough weapons there with the elite running game that they have to have some high fantasy volume output today. Derek Stingley's not playing again. That's going to obviously hurt that Houston Texans secondary. I just think if you've been waiting all year, what was the point of waiting all year if you're not going to start him today? I did it. I traded quarterbacks to start him today. There's no point having him on my bench if I think that's going to be the guy that's going to lead me to the championship. And if at the end of the day, it doesn't work, then, hey, you shouldn't have drafted him. But you drafted him for a reason. You felt confident in doing that, or you picked him up or whatever it was. So I'm confident in starting Deshaun Watson today. And I think he's one of those quarterbacks where his floor is super high. And so I don't think we need to worry about oh no, he's going to have a 4.5 point day. I don't think that's a thing with Deshaun Watson. I think he's good enough to, even if he does struggle, end up with 15, 18 fantasy points just because of how talented he is. So give me some Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, my start of the week is going to be helping out _/ here. He just gave you the reasons for Watson. Excuse me. I'm going to give you the reasons for Geno Smith. He is my start of the week at this point in time. Geno Smith comes into week 13. He's got a streak of 4 games with at least 19 fantasy points, and he's facing a team in the Los Angeles Rams who are just like, we won a Super Bowl last year. We're pretty much done. They got all their offense out. Aaron Donald on the defensive side of the ball is out, more than likely with a high ankle sprain. They're going to be playing a lot of their second string, a lot of the guys that this offense that has been consistent at most, and so is Geno Smith, going to be playing a defense that's depleted in a team that's kind of, I don't want to say down on themselves, but you're not expecting much from them going forward in the rest of the season, and that might reflect on the field. You look at what happened over the past couple of weeks, Andy Dalton and Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, Pat Mahomes is one of a kind, but combined for 580 yards, 4 touchdowns, and just 1 interception in those last games that they played. I think Geno Smith has been consistent enough and good enough this season to come in and have his 5th straight game of at least 19 or more points. On the Watson side, and I have just a question that I can pose to you, Aaron. Do you think that with it being his first week back, they may let the run game, which Houston is known for being abysmal in, just kind of take over so Watson can kind of ease his way back into game action?
We addressed this the other day. I don't even, not condescending in any way to you. Like, I don't even know what that means. The Cleveland Browns have not really been a run team all year. Nick Chubb's been great, but it's not like they were doing what they were doing with Baker Mayfield. Jacoby Brissett has thrown over 30 passes in every single game except for 2, I believe. This is not a team that's been, hey, let's pound the rock 40, 45 times. That's kind of been a misnomer for this. Yeah, they want to run the ball. That's what they've been doing for a number of years. That's Kevin Stefanski. But I told Vinny the other day, look at Kevin Stefanski's history with Kirk Cousins. He was always fantasy relevant. Even with the run game, he was always fantasy relevant. It actually improves what I'm trying to say with Deshaun Watson, because if they do happen to do that, then Houston's going to have to come up and try to stop the run. It opens up play action. I don't think there needs to be some 50 throw game for Deshaun Watson to have good fantasy value. I think it needs to be, obviously he's going to have to throw a touchdown or 2. And he's going to have to run and have some rushing yards. And I think that's where you start to see the value from Deshaun Watson. This is not a guy who's going to stand back there in the pocket and have to throw for 350 yards to have fantasy value. He's going to use his legs. They might use him in the red zone. All those off-schedule plays that Jacoby Brissett can't run because he's not really a running quarterback like that. It's Deshaun Watson who can make those plays with his legs. So I'm not concerned about the running game because it hasn't been there all year. They've been good at it. They've been able to run the ball with Nick Chubb, but it's not like Kareem Hunt's been getting in there and getting his 15 carries too. It's literally been Nick Chubb, and Deshaun Watson's going to come in and I think be on the same plan as the Jacoby Brissett, except he's going to be more talented than Jacoby Brissett. So give me that all day, and I don't have any concerns about running the football too much today. Yeah, there might be some game script at the end, but similar with Tua, we saw last week. Tua had a nice first quarter, and then he sat the bench for the 3rd and 4th quarter. I don't know that Cleveland's that good to do that to Houston today, as like Miami did. So I don't really worry about that so much. But if so, that means Deshaun Watson probably had a good first half and has done enough fantasy damage, I guess you can say, to get you what you need.
Facts.
Cool. You don't go out and trade for Deshaun Watson and sign Deshaun Watson if you're not planning on changing this offense up. I go Deshaun Watson here to break the tie for comma/apostrophe because, well, that's what he's here for. He's here for answers. I'm here to break that tie because you don't go out and trade for Deshaun Watson. You don't go out and sign Deshaun Watson. You don't even go out, and like Aaron said, you don't even go out and draft Deshaun Watson on your fantasy team. You don't plan on starting him today in this matchup. It's too juicy. This is why you draft him. This is why you don't draft, or this is why you trade for Deshaun Watson in real life and sign him to this big deal. You sign him to change your offense, to let him fly. Revenge game. The narrative's all there. Kevin Stefanski is going to let him air it out. Sure, you may not get like the 30 or 40 point game because it might be done by the 3rd quarter. But Deshaun Watson's going to help you get that blowout. Give me Deshaun Watson here in this matchup. Let's talk about quarterback sits, Aaron. Who's a quarterback that you're avoiding today?
Yeah, I think we've all kind of been on this train before. It's the Tom Brady train against the New Orleans Saints. And look, it's Tom Brady. He hasn't been the same this year. We understand that. He started to find some rhythm with his receivers a little bit over the past couple of weeks. You got to like what he's been able to do. 17 to 18 fantasy points the past 2 games that he's played. But when he's played against New Orleans, he has struggled. His first game against New Orleans this year, he only had 9 fantasy points. Just 18 to 34, 52% completion, just threw 1 touchdown. That's been kind of the story with him over the course of his time in Tampa Bay going against New Orleans. Last year against New Orleans, they again lost the game, just 26 of 48 for 214, no touchdowns and interception. Dating back to since he's been in Tampa, it's been 5 games. He has 7 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Tom Brady has not fared well against him. He's had 1 game where he had more touchdowns and interceptions, and that was the 4 touchdown, 2 interception game back in October. I just don't think there's the upside there, even though New Orleans is not great. I think that he's the guy I'm tempering my expectations with. You might not be in a position where you can sit him. I'm in one of those positions. I have to play him in a 2 quarterback league, and I'm okay with that being my quarterback 2. But if you're expecting to try to get that, quarterback 8 through quarterback 12 numbers that Tom Brady is capable of putting up, I think this year, not really above that, I think you're going to be looking elsewhere.
Yeah, I do recall someone on the show talking about Tom Brady just falling off when we were talking about rankings. And it's happening. It's happening in this matchup. I agree. AJ, help Beth out. We welcome back with open arms here. We welcome back Beth with open arms. I did not know she played fantasy football, but she does. She asked, should I start Geno Smith or Trevor Lawrence? It's fitting she comes in on today's day because yesterday was actually our 3-year anniversary of our old show, the Rough Cut Sportscast. The day that we officially launched was our 3-year anniversary yesterday. So Beth coming in here is kind of very fitting because of that. So help her out, AJ. Who should she start, Geno or Trevor Lawrence?
On the plus side here, you have two very good options in my opinion today. I think either one of them will make you happy. The answer that I would go with in this situation, I just talked a little bit about Geno Smith. I think I would take Trevor Lawrence in this situation with going against the Detroit Lions. Their defense all season has been basically abysmal, except for 2 or 3 weeks where they really just hyped up and made Dan Campbell proud. But they still yield enough points to the quarterback position. And I think this game is going to kind of be one of those shootouts, one of those back and forth games between 2 subpar teams with potent offenses as of late. So I expect a duel between Trevor Lawrence and Jared Goff. And I think Trevor Lawrence would be the answer in this case against Geno Smith. But I like both of those plays. I think you'll be happy either way.
Aaron, you on board with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I think I go Trevor Lawrence here. I like the matchup. Trevor Lawrence has had 20+ points in 2 straight weeks in fantasy. We saw what he was able to do last week against a Baltimore defense that I think is better than the Detroit Lions defense. Give me some Trevor Lawrence today. I think you can feel comfortable starting either one of these guys, but I am a little bit lower on Geno Smith this week than I am on Trevor Lawrence.
So AJ, Beth says she's going to go swap her OP now. So I'd like to know who her actual quarterback is, because if you have the opportunity to play a second quarterback here, that's what I would do. I would just I'd play them both. I went with Trevor Lawrence in this question, but if you have,
I think the decision is Geno or Trevor. Maybe she had Geno Smith in there today, and now she's switching.
Right, and so I'm asking if that's going to be her offensive player, like who she got in her actual quarterback slot. Then, like that you come down to these two, because
first and last. Oh, Patrick.
There you
Mahomes.
go, Patrick Mahomes. All right. Cool. Just needed. I was like, there's got to be a reason.
That man's always in your lineup. That man is always
QB.
First of all, don't disrespect Patrick Mahomes like that, Vinny. I've told you about this a number of times. That is not a man. That is a god. Okay.
Is he Greek?
Is he Greek? I do apologize. I do apologize for that. The Jesus, the Lord and Savior himself, Patrick Mahomes, should never disrespect. All right. Get back into it. Our sitting quarterbacks here, we've talked about our sitting quarterbacks. I see famed Tigers comment. I lost last week. If I don't win this week, I probably won't make the playoffs. Oh my goodness.
Drop that lineup in there. Let's help you win your let's help help you win your league, man. Let's help you get into the playoffs. Let's do it. This is what we do.
He says pick 2 wide receivers, a quarterback, a flex, wide receivers, unreliable Terry McLaurin, shaking my head, Christian Kirk, Brady-led Evans, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, happy endings Watson, and bum-ass Lamar, split back Monty, underachieving Jeff Wilson Jr. I love it.
You summed up your whole team in very descriptive but accurate terms pretty much for every single one of those players. Like the only one that's really been reliable all season has been Amari Cooper, and that's the only one you didn't have a nickname for. Keenan Allen is back, so that should be nice. AJ, what do you think here?
Those are my Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen would be my 2 wide receivers here in this situation. Earlier this week, we talked about Mike Evans against the Saints in very descriptive fashion. You go find those on our YouTube as well after the show's over. If you want some more descriptive detail on what we think about Mike Evans at Sac City Pod. With the QB, we just talked about Deshaun Watson, and we think against Houston with no Derek Stingley, even though they've been good against the pass, terrible against the run, I think he has a good shot to be wide open. Vinny can tell you about his hate for Lamar Jackson this week against Denver Broncos, a very good defense. So my choices here would be Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen. I would go with Deshaun Watson, and it's definitely David Montgomery. I don't think it's a split backfield right now. If you're talking about with Justin Fields, they still make room for David Montgomery to have his fair share of the carries. So that's the route that I would go in this situation.
I think I'm 100% on board with the David Montgomery being your flex here against Green Bay and that soft defense and what they've been giving up against the run. I think David Montgomery is your flex play here. Normally, I do like a receiver in that flex, but there are some question marks at receiver here in today's game, especially with the Evans going against Marshawn Lattimore. Christian Kirk, it could be a Zay Jones day. I do like the matchup, but I think the guaranteed person that's going to get touches is David Montgomery, and there's not really anybody to compete with him at this point in time. So I think David Montgomery is your flex here. As far as a quarterback, Vinny and I are going to disagree here more than likely. If I'm of the mindset here, you have to take Lamar Jackson and you have to play him in this game because of what Watson has not been able to show us. We do not know. As much as I'm on board with Deshaun Watson, we know what Lamar Jackson is. Could it be a pedestrian, mediocre day because it's a tough defense, 15, 18 points like we said? Yeah, but that upside of Lamar Jackson is just too high. And
I want to jump in and interrupt. No. I want to jump in and interrupt you because you were putting words in my mouth, and you said you knew where I stood on this, and you said that I
said you probably disagree.
But that's the thing. I don't actually because something that we talked about, and this is what I want to interrupt you with, and then you can proceed. Something that we talked about when we talked about Lamar Jackson and whether or not we were going to start him this week and what we were going to do with him. We said it was situational. And in this situation where he's literally said if he doesn't win this week, he probably won't make it to the playoffs. You don't put that faith in a quarterback that you have not seen. You don't know how Deshaun Watson's going to play. We can think all we want that Deshaun Watson's going to come in here and light it up, but you just don't know. And when your fantasy playoffs are on the line here, you go with the quarterback that you can trust more. You cannot risk it. You go with Lamar Jackson. So I agree with you. Sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to make that point very clear.
Yeah, look, I lean Lamar Jackson today just because, again, I know the rushing upside there. I know what I'm going to get from Lamar Jackson, even if he struggles through the air. So I go Lamar Jackson here. I do go Amari Cooper. I do think Amari Cooper has been one of the better receivers. And I agree with AJ. I like Keenan Allen here. So I'd go Lamar Jackson, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, and David Montgomery there as the flex. And go win yourself a championship by coming all the way back, get into the playoffs today, and then go win the whole thing. Join us back next week so we can set your lineup again.
Go get a fame, Tiger. Eric Silvers asks, for his RB2, does he go with injured Travis Etienne or washed up Alvin Kamara? I love these nicknames. I want to give it. I love how descriptive our listeners are right now. Eric Silvers, injured Travis Etienne, washed up Alvin Kamara, AJ.
I think Etienne's good to go. That injury, I think I think he survived a possible scare, and I think he's going to be pretty good to go. It looks like they handled him pretty well this week. And again, we're talking about going up against the Lions defense, and he's been the guy in that backfield when he's been healthy as of late. I think you can go very well with Travis Etienne. Kamara is one of those guys that it's really hard to bench him, really, really hard to bench him. But we're going up against a tough matchup in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense and a tough matchup in division. These games have just been brutal for almost both sides in this game. Obviously, the Saints have won these games, but it hasn't looked pretty. I like the upside of Travis Etienne today.
Not much to talk about here. Etienne's the play. You can't trust Alvin Kamara right now with what's been going on in New Orleans. Pick Etienne, put him in your lineup, feel confident. When they said he's good to go, you have to assume he's good to go. And there's not much competition by him. Let's be honest. JaMychal Hasty had a nice day, but it's not like he's going to push Etienne for touches or say he has to be given the ball because of a hot hand or something. Go Etienne.
Yeah, Etienne all day on this one. The matchup's juicy. You can't trust Alvin Kamara right now. Start your Travis Etienne. Pate asks, with an apostrophe. That's an apostrophe. That we'll have to now check this now that we've seen the apostrophe.
It's easy to tell when it's next to letters.
That's true. Rachaad White or George Pickens at the flex this week, AJ?
Oh, no, I definitely thought you were going to run up to Aaron on that one.
No, Aaron finished off.
Okay. Atlanta's a nice matchup for George Pickens. We talked earlier this week about the chemistry that Kenny Pickett has had with George Pickens. He's going to be in one of our 7 minutes later. I think he's going to have himself a good day. I think you can expect double digits from George Pickens. Leonard Fournette should be back in today, if I'm not mistaken. I'll keep looking at that, but I think he's expected to play Monday night, which I don't know how much they're going to split carries and give him the work. But if Leonard Fournette's playing, I imagine him to get some run. I think you go George Pickens. I think he's going to have himself a much better day.
This is tough. I think this is really close. I like Rachaad White. In normal circumstances, I lean Rachaad White. But New Orleans is pretty tough against running back position. We saw what they were able to do to stifle Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers run defense or offense. They're number 10 against the run on the season in fantasy points allowed per game. I think I'm with AJ here. I think the matchup with Atlanta is nice for George Pickens. I probably slightly lean George Pickens, but honestly, you could put these names in a hat and pick one, and you're probably going to be okay with either one. I think both in your lineup is okay. So I don't think you're going to go wrong, whoever you pick, but I think I would lean George Pickens in this case.
Yeah, I think I would as well. I think that this is a tough one, obviously, and I actually have a question for you, gentlemen, in a little bit regarding the same situation. It's a personal question. I'm not afraid to do it. With the fact that you have Rachaad White going tomorrow and George Pickens going today, so it's not like you can really sit on this decision, or it has to be made. It's either George Pickens or you're waiting until Rachaad White. Obviously, injuries don't have anything to do with that, but that's the case. I would also lean George Pickens. I think the matchup is a little bit easier there for him. We appreciate, again, the comment. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're here every week, every Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern time, helping you win your lineup or win your matchups. Christian Watson, Deebo Samuel, half point PPR. And this is the one I will tee you up, Aaron, first, because I know how you feel about Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, like normally on the surface, you're like, oh, Deebo Samuel, don't think twice about it. But Deebo's dealing with an injury. We're not even sure he's going to play. That's a real question mark that he doesn't play this week. And we've seen over 2 of the last 3 weeks, he's only had 7 fantasy points. The production in the running game has not been there. Now that I do assume Christian McCaffrey is in the lineup today, I think you might not get as much that you thought you would have get from Deebo Samuel in the run game. As crazy as this sounds, I don't know that Deebo Samuel plays today. So make sure you keep an eye on the injury report and things like that. Is that a 10 a.m. game or a 1 p.m. game?
Niners Dolphins, isn't that in San Francisco? I think it's a 4 o'clock game.
I think it's in San Francisco, so 4 o'clock game. And I think that Christian Watson's a 1 p.m. game, right? So I almost think if that's your choice, if you have nobody else, as crazy as it sounds, I think I lean Christian Watson. I don't feel good about it. I don't, but I would be scared if I had nobody else really to put in my lineup and I wait until those afternoon games and then Deebo Samuel's announced out or he's not able to play.
I will give an update on the Deebo Samuel. Adam Schefter tweeted 2 hours ago that 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel listed as questionable for Sunday's game due to a deep thigh bruise, plans to play against Miami. So this is coming from Adam Schefter. He said the 49ers didn't think Samuel would be able to play until Friday, but he has made big improvements, and barring a pregame setback, he plans to go today. So you're now relying on that pregame setback.
Is it more scary than just having Christian Watson walk in the stadium? Because the minute he walks in the stadium, he could get hurt. He's been hurt 5 times this year. I always say this. If a guy goes and that's the stud or the elite guy that's supposed to be, you have to play him. So I'll be honest. If they're saying he looks like he's going to play, I would lean Deebo Samuel. The only way I start Christian Watson over Deebo Samuel, obviously, is if Deebo Samuel's not playing. I don't like being that guy that says, "Oh, I'm trying to overthink it," and the guy plays and you don't have him in your lineup and he goes for 35 points. I can deal with Christian Watson doing that.
I think now we have to ask the question to the listener here, and it's who is your other options if Deebo Samuel does not play? Because then you have to look at your matchup and see if you can't take that risk. If you can't take the risk of what if Deebo Samuel doesn't play, and then you're shit out of luck without a player to start in your flex position. So I think that's where the question has to be reversed. AJ Beth asks about Leonard Fournette and Antonio Gibson. Who's to play this week, or do I need to go find some scrub running back for the week?
I think Gibson is playing this week. I think he's expected to play. You have to hope that he gets into the not the end zone, but you have to hope he gets into the passing game a little bit more. Because I do think Brian Robinson is going to lead that backfield in carries. But I do think he plays. I still am not sure about Leonard Fournette. I've been looking, trying to figure it out. It looks like they say he's moving in the right direction and has logged 2 consecutive full practices. So it looks nice that he's going to play. But, I mean, that's a Monday night game. So if you're going to wait it out, you have to have a backup in that backfield, and I don't like that idea. So if you have Gibson, I think he's expected to play. And maybe you look for the highest scrub running back of a just in case, but I don't like the waiting for Monday with him.
It's Gibson for me, and it's not close. Healthy or not, either one of them, they both play. I would go Gibson here. Rachaad White's taken into Leonard Fournette's carries, the Tampa Bay offense against that defense. He wasn't that good before he left. I just think Gibson probably has the higher upside here, similar floor. I go Gibson.
To cap this question regarding the Deebo and Watson, he says that as for his wide receiver 2 spot, he's got Diggs there. He's 9-4. I'd wait on Deebo if this was the case. To be completely honest, it seems like you're in a situation where you can afford to wait on Deebo. I would wait on Deebo.
That half-point PPR is that's the reason that Deebo leads, in my opinion, because he does have the opportunity.
You still got to look at the other options. He's saying his only other options are Drake London or Tyler Boyd, and those games are both early.
No, they're not.
Oh no,
Tyler Boyd plays at 4:25, and
okay, so then I guess you could go Tyler Boyd there. So yeah, I would probably wait. I would wait on Deebo. I'm not sold on Christian Watson. He's very touchdown dependent, and it could be a very good day for him again. But as I told AJ before, it will regress. At some point in time, it will regress.
We riding the Gus bus this week, gentlemen?
No way. No way.
I don't trust it.
You take Rachaad White, and this ain't close.
Okay. AJ, that sounds like you.
Yeah, he had his first decent week coming back from injury, but even still, it wasn't enough to make me go, he's back. Like, I honestly believe he's just as easy to possibly get hurt again and go out. Like,
let's be real.
Lamar's going to take into that rushing ability.
Any PPR questions that involve Gus is going to probably be the guy that's getting more passing options, because Gus has to score a touchdown to be fantasy relevant. Give me Rachaad White. He can have a bad day and get the output of what Gus Edwards can do.
I think some of that, it seems like a consistent question here is a lot of Rachaad White questions, but with the lingering decision of whether or not Leonard Fournette plays or not, I don't think it matters. To be completely honest, whether or not Leonard Fournette plays, I think Rachaad White's a good play this week, because I think that even when Leonard Fournette was there, I think you started to really see the inefficiencies and the struggles of Leonard Fournette and the rise of Rachaad White. I think that's where they lean on and they go with what they go with. So
the upside will be capped when both play. That there's going to be, if they split time, there will be an upside that's capped. But Rachaad White is starting to take over, and he's involved in the pass game. And they are a high volume offense. They have a lot of plays. They run a lot of plays. Rachaad White's a good play. In most cases, it's going to be a tougher matchup this week. But when you're trying to decide between him and those fringe running backs, it's not that hard for me.
Yeah. We appreciate all the comments, by the way. Everyone, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are here every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern time, giving you your fantasy lineup decisions, helping you guys win your matchups, helping you win those fantasy championships. Beth says, Gus is the scrub I grabbed. That's great. KJ asks, what are your guys' confidence level when it comes to Mike Williams and the fantasy playoffs full point PPR?
Confidence in Mike Williams don't go in the same sentence. I'm not very confident in Mike Williams whenever an injury is starting to happen, and we've seen it now. Great start to the season, played the first 7 weeks, then you go to a bye week, and all of a sudden you have an injury, or you're obviously injured. You have the bye week, and then you don't play 3 out of 4 weeks. Then when you do play, it's the first week back. I don't trust Mike Williams. I never have. He's going to be a very hit or miss receiver, but his upside is huge, and you have to realize that. But down the stretch last season, even on a good year, down the stretch, weeks 15 through 18, or 15 through 17, which is the fantasy playoffs for most cases, he missed a game. He had a total of 6 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown in 3 games. I don't trust him.
On board, yeah, I'm with it. I think there's too many other options that have proven themselves in that offense. And when Mike Williams comes back, we saw it happen so quickly. It took one quick play and it was done. And you can't afford that in the playoffs. So Keenan Allen's back. Keenan Allen looks healthy. Keenan Allen's back to being the target hog. So I'm with you on that. I would be worried about Mike Williams as well.
Let's help Trey out. Full PPR, start 2. Travis Etienne, Jeff Wilson, Rachaad White, playoff Lenny, not so playoff Lenny anymore, or Devontae Smith.
I lean Etienne and Rachaad White here. I think Etienne's the definite. I would lean
Etienne's
Rachaad
in your
White
lineup for sure.
Yeah. And I'm not mad if you go Devontae Smith over the last 3 weeks. He has a total of 25 targets, and that's some pretty decent volume. So
I actually like that play a little bit better. I think it's the toss up between Rachaad White and Devontae Smith, but I think this week I probably lean Devontae Smith. Tennessee's seeing the most passing work against any opponent. They're seeing the most attempts, the most completions. They're going to throw the ball in Philly today because that defensive front for Tennessee is really good. You have A.J. Brown on the other side who's going to draw attention because we know what kind of game this is for him. And I'm sure Vrabel also wants to try to shut A.J. Brown down to kind of quiet that narrative. So Devontae might see a little bit of extra work today. I would probably lean Etienne and Smith, but I'm not mad if you go Rachaad White. I think that's a fine play as well.
Yeah, I'd go Etienne and Smith as well, just because of the matchups that you have. You look at Tennessee; they're allowing the 31st most points against fantasy wide receivers, and you look at New Orleans when you're deciding between Rachaad White or Devontae Smith. Rachaad White going up against New Orleans, 8th least amount of fantasy points allowed to the running back position. I like the matchup there better. This is a pure matchup play. It's Travis Etienne and Devontae Smith. He also just mentions Tua or Dak today. Tua against the San Francisco 49ers, Dak against the Indianapolis Colts.
Real close. I lean Dak, slightly better matchup, but not great. Like Tua's going to be fine. Everybody that's trying to be scared of Tua playing the 49ers, don't be. He'll be fine. But I think you just lean Dak a little bit here. Sunday Night Football. Give me Dak.
Tua is also down both his starting tackles tonight. So against a pretty solid rush defense. I'm not saying that they can't figure it out. They have an explosive offense, but I mean, I do think that plays at least some of a role in what could go down against a good defense. And there's a coaching battle too. You know, the Shanahan and Mike McDaniel narrative going on. Like, there's a lot surrounding this game. So maybe Tua will just be hyped up.
Tua might ball out. I only have him 2 spots below Dak in my rankings. I really like Tua still in this game, but if you're asking me if you've got a gun to my head, I'll
lean Dak. Yeah. I lean that for sure. Just figure I'd throw that out so y'all are aware of what Tua's facing.
Yeah. Michael asks, non-PPR, first of all, gross. Start 1 this week. Samaje Perine, Isaiah Pacheco, Rachaad White, or Jeff Wilson Jr. Non-PPR.
Yeah, first of all, Michael, thanks for the question. Appreciate the support. Hit that subscribe button. You got to get into PPR leagues, man. Non-PPR is so hard because you're looking for touchdowns. And right here, based on this question, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to go Isaiah Pacheco. If Joe Mixon plays, and I know he hasn't cleared concussion protocol yet. So this is the question that I would really answer first. He was still in concussion protocol as of last night. The last time I checked, it was like 2 a.m. He hadn't cleared concussion protocol. If he is not cleared, the answer is Samaje Perine, and I don't think it's particularly close. But if he is cleared, honestly, I lean Isaiah Pacheco. And I think they get the most red zone opportunities.
And the good thing you have there is both those guys are 4 o'clock starts, the 4 o'clock games.
Well, they play each other.
The same game.
Same game. Stupid. Yeah. Well, really, the best thing about all of that is it's all everyone but Jeff Wilson Jr. who we're not discussing. Actually, everyone in this that he mentions here is an late afternoon game. So.
Is there worry about a revenge game with Jeff Wilson? Maybe he comes out and balls out. It's him and Mostert, right? They both technically have revenge games.
Well, so
revenge.
I think I'm on board with. I think I'm on board with what you said. So, but I want to ask this question. I'm gonna just cut the line here. J Law's next is with this question. Actually, I'll answer his and I'll go back to mine. Chris Olave or Miles Sanders this week? Chris Olave. Who do the Saints have?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa on Monday Night Football. And Sanders has Tennessee. Where we lean in here? I lean Chris Olave here, gentlemen. I don't mean to cut off the analysts here, but I lean Chris Olave here. I said on Thursday's show, we were talking running backs, that I do not like the matchup for Miles Sanders. Tennessee is actually has been very stingy against the running back position in terms of fantasy points allowed, 3rd best against opposing running backs. I think that you've seen a lot this season of Miles Sanders going up and down and up and down. And sure, he had that blow up game last week, but that almost is more signs of Miles Sanders having a down week this week. I think that Nick Sirianni leans more on Jalen Hurts and his rushing ability, and then also the passing game against the Titans this week. And I think that you talked about Mike Vrabel earlier, Aaron, about how they're going to try and game plan for A.J. Brown. I think that Mike Vrabel is a good enough coach that he says, okay, this team is their main weapon is their rushing, whether it's from Jalen Hurts or Miles Sanders. And I think that neutralizes Sanders today. Again, 3rd best against opposing running backs. Give me Chris Olave here between these two guys.
Nothing to add. I think I agree. I'm on board with that.
Way to go, analyst.
There it is. Yeah. That's how we do it.
About time you do something right.
I try my best. Lots of Travis Etienne questions today as well. Travis Etienne or Pierce?
Bainbridge, stand up. Damian Pierce. No, I'm playing.
Hey, I love this picture, though. Look at Sam Darnold's face. Look at that.
I wish that was Baker Mayfield, though. I think that should be Baker Mayfield because
if you turn the picture around, it is.
No, that's how Baker Mayfield throws the football. Look, for Cardi, no relation to Cardi B here. I'm gonna go Travis Etienne. The passing upside, it's too huge. Great matchup. Both these guys have really good matchup. Both should have really good days, but Travis Etienne's the play.
Yeah.
What are you sighing for?
Because it's tough to me. I mean, I understand the reasoning for the question, and just part of me wants to lean Dameon Pierce, but I just
Dameon Pierce's upside is not nowhere near Travis Etienne, and the floor we already know what the floor is.
Like, I don't know. Maybe it's like the first moment. It's like the first moment that the injury felt like it played a role. I don't know. It's weird. Okay, I'm sorry. And I'm not saying go Dameon Pierce.
Cardi, don't do it, Cardi. Take the guy that's the safer play.
Yeah, go with the safer play in Travis Etienne. And this is someone who, in my locked and loaded bet this week, I have Dameon Pierce anytime touchdown locked and loaded in my parlay. And I do think that happens. But I think Travis Etienne could find the end zone as well. We'll get the touches. We'll get the catches. And I think Travis Etienne is definitely the safer play. And that's the side that I lean. Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave. Garrett Wilson's one of my guys this week as well. So I lean there. But what about you guys?
Give me Garrett Wilson. Again, this is about just opportunity. Minnesota, I think it's a good matchup. They're an offense that could have put up some points, even against that tough Jets defense. So there might be some special, I don't know, some game from him that they need in order to keep this one kind of close. But yeah, I think you lean Garrett Wilson here. I think it's close, but I think I lean Garrett Wilson.
In games without Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson averages about 19 fantasy points. I like Garrett Wilson today.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson is in the lineup. That's another guy that is also in my anytime touchdown parlay that I have going. This dude is going to be balling. This is Mike White's guy, and you go with it. Timothy Johnson asked, and just a reminder to everyone, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are here every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time, giving you your fantasy lineup decisions, helping you win those matchups, giving you those confidence plays heading into the week. Timothy asks, hey guys, need 2 for my flex. Samaje Perine, DeAndre Swift. Oh my, how the mighty have fallen. DeAndre Swift, Chris Olave, Mark Andrews. I'd assume that's Mark Andrews, but it's in non-PPR.
Well, what other Andrews would be?
I guess there wouldn't be another.
Come
Andrews.
on, so this is where your fantasy hosting's supposed to. Come on, you know who it is.
I do, but I think it's so like Mark Andrews is in like that's I think the easiest one out of all. Like
no, this is a flex option, which means he probably has a tight end. I would assume that the tight end you have already is Travis Kelce.
Yeah, it has to
but it's also non PPR. So understand that non PPR is completely different. So Andrews would be, if this is non PPR, to me Andrews is a lock. PPR could change. Like I'm not saying that Andrews would be a necessarily lock. As crazy as this sounds, I would still find out if Samaje Perine is playing first. But if Mixon is in, I don't think Perine's irrelevant. Also, look for an uptick in usage for DeAndre Swift today against Jacksonville. Dan Campbell did come out and say they wanted to get the ball more to DeAndre Swift. Jamal Williams has been real inefficient, but he's been a touchdown hog. I think here I lean Swift and Andrews. I think those are my picks for PPR or non-PPR.
Yeah, I definitely think with non-PPR it's Andrews for sure. And Swift is efficient. That's the difference. It's like when even with limited opportunity, he finds a way to get you points. So, I can get on board with Andrews and Swift.
KJ back again. I currently have Foster Moreau rostered. Who is a better tight end play in the playoffs? In the playoffs, this is not for today. This is for the playoffs. Foster Moreau, Jelani Woods, Cody Bellinger. Is Cody Bellinger dead? Is he dead?
No, he has a chance to play today, but I don't know what you get out of that.
But for playoffs, he should be back.
It's not Cody. First of all, his name is Daniel.
Daniel Bellinger. Oh man, I keep forgetting with the. I've been doing a lot of I've been doing baseball free agency lately, and Daniel Bellinger is not one of the free agents, but like Dodgers talk, we've been doing a lot. Bellinger, Hill, Henry, Monroe, Jelani Woods. Fantasy playoffs.
This is the ugliest question I think we'll have to answer.
You got a dartboard?
I put it this way: I'm playing Foster Moreau every week, unless Darren Waller comes back.
Yep.
Out of that group.
Ugly as it may be, Foster Moreau.
Taysom Hill probably would be my second pick there.
Oof.
He would, because they use him in the red zone. You hope for a touchdown opportunity, and he might catch one, he might throw one, he might run one. You get at least got a chance to throw a dart at it, and I think that's the dart I would throw. I would go Foster Moreau as long as Darren Waller's out, and then after he came back, I would pray to the Lord Jesus himself, and I would throw in Taysom Hill and hope he gets a red zone touchdown or something. Yep, I agree there,
All
KJ.
Right.
Got a lot of boom potential in Taysom Hill.
That's where we're at with that, man. That was a good ride of answering start-sit questions. If you have any more, ladies and gentlemen, drop them. We're here to help. We'll pivot back now to our originally scheduled programming here in our starts and our sits quarterbacks. We're gonna have to start rolling through this because that was a hot and heavy segment right there. Running back starts this week. AJ.
All right. So my running back start of the week is going to be what somebody once called split back money, but I don't think it's split back. I think David Montgomery has himself another good game going up against the Green Bay Packers. If I'm not mistaken, they've allowed like 6 touchdowns in the last 5 games. Without Khalil Herbert, David Montgomery is going to get the volume. Even with Justin Fields, he is going to get the carries. Look for him to have himself a solid day on the ground. I'm thinking 15 plus from a David Montgomery today at least. Fire him up and be a very happy man, or a woman, or a kid, or grandpa, grandma, whatever you want.
What are you talking about? For me, it's the guy we just talked about. It's Dameon Pierce. Good matchup today. I think we talked about the kind of the revenge game for Deshaun Watson. I think Dameon Pierce has a nice day here. Cleveland has not been very good against the run this season. As a matter of fact, we've seen them get torched quite a bit. We saw the big Austin Eckler game. We've seen some other big games. They're second worst. These are the 2 worst rush defenses against fantasy running backs, 26 and 27 points per game. So this game could be a heavy ground and pound. And I know I always say it might be over in an hour, that type of thing. I think Houston needs to get the run game involved. We've seen what kind of team they've been when Dameon Pierce hasn't been involved. They tend to not do as well offensively. So give me Dameon Pierce against the Cleveland Browns. Good matchup here. He should fit in real nicely into your RB2 conversation.
I remember saying it on Thursday's show that every game that the Texans score more than 17 points, Dameon Pierce has more than 15 touches in that game.
Do you remember saying that Foster Moreau is going to be a top 5 tight end?
Come on, man.
Chargers, and then 2 days later, changing that and saying you should sit him because you don't trust him.
Has nothing to do with this. Has zero to do with Dameon Pierce here. Nothing.
Yeah, okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing at all. All right, AJ, what about your running back sit?
Surprise, ladies and gentlemen. I am sitting my own Atlanta Falcons running back, Cordero Patterson, this week. This backfield has once again truly become split. We were expecting once he got back that Cordero Patterson would take the lead again, and he had that big 18-point game. But since then, he's had less than 12 fantasy points in his last 3 games. He's averaging very well, 5 yards a carry, but he's only had 21 carries in the past 2 weeks. Tyler Algier has come on, and I said this in the beginning of the season. They do like Tyler Algier in Atlanta. They're giving him opportunities, and if he keeps seeing that split and they're not seeing the production, I don't know that he pulls one out for you. So I'm going to fade Cordero Patterson this week and try to go elsewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Vinny, not going to say nothing. Okay.
We've done it for we've done it for 2 positions. You literally are supposed to go back to back.
Did you not see me? Did you not see me? This we're not clipping this shit. Like, did you not see me?
That's why I wasn't gonna jump in and be like, "Hey, Bozo, pay attention, and we can make this happen."
Yeah, we're not like you can do what you got to do. Anyways, mine is Antonio Gibson. Again, I don't. The upside, I think, is limited just because of the injury. I'm not sure what he's going to give you. Last week, we thought he might have a good day here. He didn't. I think there's some question marks there. Brian Robinson might have a nice day here. Plus, the injury really does worry me. It's a foot injury. He had 9 carries, 32 yards last week, but did get 12 touches. Just wasn't very efficient with them. I think you have to temper your expectations. He's been an RB2 all season long. I think he's more of a back end that probably slides into that flex consideration this week. So I'm okay if you're playing him as a flex. But if you're looking for more than that, I would probably go elsewhere this week.
Okay. All right. That's 2 running backs that I'll be avoiding. It was funny because Beth had that question earlier about Antonio Gibson, but in the situation that she was comparing it to, it was an Antonio Gibson pick, but still not a lot of confidence total in the Gib Dog today. AJ, wide receivers. Who's your starting wide receiver this week?
Yeah, we spoke a little bit about him earlier. I dropped a nice little line for you. I'm going to do it again. I am starting Garrett Wilson against the Minnesota Vikings. He has a quarterback that can throw, or at least that likes to throw and has liked to throw to him. As I said earlier, in games without Zach Wilson, he's averaged 19.4 fantasy points per game. Last year when it was Mike White, it was Elijah Moore who got to go on a run. So far this time, it seems like it's going to be Garrett Wilson. In the first drive last week, he had 4 targets, just looking for him. And over the course of the season, Garrett Wilson has a 24% target share and a 31% air yard share. Last week, Mike Wilson, that went up to 29% targets and 35% air yards. So 8 targets on the day. I look to see that happening again. I think Garrett Wilson has some boom potential. Great solid receiver. Liked it a lot. Liked the matchup a lot. Garrett Wilson's must start.
Yeah, let me go right in after to make sure we stay on this train. I will go with George Pickens. George Pickens is my wide receiver to start. Double digits in 6 of 8 games. 6 over his last 8 games. Just had the dud against Philly and the dud against Tampa Bay, but he's seen heavy target share in those games. He's seen at least 6 targets outside of the two bad games. He's been in the end zone twice. I think you're starting to see his volume become more and more. The trust between him and Kenny Pickett is there. I know this makes Vinny very happy, but George Pickens, it looks like he's going to be a real player, and I'm looking forward to next year's fantasy value. But for week 13, I think it's a good matchup against Atlanta, allowing the most pass yards in the NFL per game. Give me George Pickens.
Yeah, this section alone, it makes me happy because AJ's got my matchup that I like this week and the matchup that I hate for both the wide receivers, and then you picking George Pickens as well as a guy that I like a lot. So this whole segment, this whole wide receiver section does make me happy. AJ, talk about Adam Thielen.
Yeah, I'm going to sit him this week. I imagine this is a good one to hear too, because a lot of people are probably going to jump at Adam Thielen after his big week last week with 21 fantasy points. But the Jets are not the secondary to try. Don't test Sauce Gardner because he won't make you sad. Don't test the secondary. They are giving up 3rd fewest fantasy points to receivers in the league, and Thielen finished with single digits most weeks. It's not something that you trust. It's not a high ceiling. Last week was a season high 10 targets and 9 catches. I mean, I don't think you're going to see that again. There's going to be a lot of force to Justin Jefferson, in my opinion, this week. I would fade from Adam Thielen, who's averaging about 9.3 fantasy points normally. I think you have other options. He's a wide receiver 3 at best this week.
Yeah, for me, it's we talked about him earlier, Deebo Samuel. Just tempering your expectations on what Deebo Samuel is going to be able to give you this week. It's a situation where we're not sure he's going to play. He's obviously banged up, got that thigh bruise. There's a chance that he doesn't go at all. And then if he does go, there was a chance that he might re-aggravate that or not be able to give the same explosion that we're used to seeing from a Deebo Samuel. And the thing that scares me the most, I think, about Deebo is that when you say thigh bruise, that's his legs. And you get hit one time on that bruise, it kind of, I know people think, oh, it's just a bruise, you should be okay. People don't realize what kind of deep thigh bruises that really mean. You get hit, it tweaks it, you can't really run. It becomes very sore and painful, and you don't have the same mobility that you have early on. So if he takes one hit, he could be out of the game. Just tempering your expectations on Deebo Samuel, I think, is a must today.
And Deebo gets hit there a lot. Like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like every time I watch Deebo Samuel, somebody's trying to go at those tree trunks of legs. And I imagine
that's good. That's where you're supposed to be getting hit.
Right. But what I'm saying is, like, you watch Deebo Samuel take that hit and bounce, and just bounce and keep running. Today, I think he takes that hit, he might go down immediately, and it might be out for, the game, if not, a couple of plays, if not the game. So, I'm just wanted to add in that thought process. I feel like I'm always seeing him just being bouncing off people's heads, so I don't think that happens today.
I wanted to clarify something before we move on. AJ, you did mention Adam Thielen and what he averages this season. That's actually without when he doesn't score a touchdown. He averages that 9.2 points. He averages 11.8 fantasy points per game. But when he doesn't score a touchdown, which is not expected today against the New York Jets defense, like you said, he averages just 9.2 fantasy points. It just doesn't happen for Adam Thielen against the Jets today. That's a problem. That's a big time matchup problem, and don't do it. Please don't do it. Tight ends. Let's talk about tight ends. Who we're starting this week? Who you're going with, AJ?
This week I am going to I'm going to go with Noah Fant. We tried this a couple weeks ago. It was okay. It wasn't what we were hoping, but I think this is another good opportunity. I already talked about Geno Smith having himself a good day against the Los Angeles Rams, who were just basically waiting to go to Cancun or Cabo or wherever it may be. No Aaron Donald again. They may have more time to throw. And in the past month, the Seahawks have been second most to fantasy tight ends and PPR positions. So I look for this as a sneaky tight end play, a dart throw play. You know how we talk about tight ends are just, if you have Travis Kelce, you're great. Other than that, find your best bet and hope for the best. And I think you can hope for some pretty good stuff against the Rams today from Noah Fant.
Yeah, Noah Fant just 3 for 34 last week. 2 weeks in a row, actually, exactly 3 for 34. I didn't know whether that was Noah Fant or Kyle Pitts, because that's what Kyle Pitts was doing for a while this year. But for me, it's Evan Ingram. And again, making Vinny happy. I don't know why I'm trying to please Vinny. I don't even like him. But Evan Ingram, this week I think is a good play. I know just 1 point fantasy point for the week before, one before that. But some reason I just really like this matchup against Detroit. I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to air it out. I know they like Evan Ingram. If he doesn't drop the ball, I think he could have some fantasy value. You also might find him fall into the end zone. And if he gets some red zone targets here, this is more of, again, a gut shot. You guys all know I'm against the tight end position. I'm almost categorizing it up there with the kicker position. I think it should be eliminated from fantasy football. It should be all wide receivers and running backs and quarterbacks and Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews. And that's it. Yeah, but if I had to choose one to throw a start at, that's not one of the top guys, give me Evan Ingram.
All right. We're talking tight ends here. Bailey asks a question about Harrison Bryant this week. Without a David Njoku there in Cleveland, what are you guys' thoughts on Harrison Bryant, the tight end for the Cleveland Browns? Is that not a dart throw you guys are making, or just
I don't like it.
If Jawan Johnson's out, I like Taysom Hill better. But
yeah, right.
But no.
No.
Okay. David Njoku is on the team. Why would we do Harrison Bryant? David
Njoku is going to be out. I think that's what he meant when he said Jawan Johnson. And David Njoku is going to be out, so Harrison Bryant steps in.
Okay, so David Njoku is ruled out today. Okay,
is Jawan Johnson out? I don't even think Jawan Johnson.
I think is also out.
Is he? Okay.
I have him on one of my other teams, and he had a
he won't play. Yeah, he won't play. I'm a little confused by, because I wasn't sure if we were talking just the Saints guy or just the
right.
Either way, sure.
Taysom Hill if Jawan Johnson's out, not Harrison Bryant if Njoku's out.
if Njoku's hurt, and you want to throw in Harrison Bryant against Houston with Deshaun Watson, sure, okay. He's the reason I don't get excited about questions like this, and this is not a knock at you, Bailey. This is a knock at the tight end position. They're all the same. You can literally go to the waiver right now and look at all the tight ends, and I would say, sure. Like, I would do the same exact thing. Pick a dart, throw one, and hope for the best. Harrison Bryant, that seems like a nice play to me. Houston, Deshaun Watson back, no Njoku, sure. I'm sorry. I know there's nothing great there, but
in a few seconds you'll see Bailey pick up Harrison Bryant in our sleeper league and throw him in. Oh, did he? Oh, that's great. All right, let's talk sits. Who do we not like this week at the tight end position?
Oh, tight ends, yeah, okay. Let me go first. I hate tight ends. Let me go first. Mine will be quick. Tyler Higbee. If you want to know why, go watch TikTok. That's it. I'm done.
There you go. Plain and simple.
Mine can also be quick. Mike Gesicki. I don't like it. Off a donut last week. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle exist. You can see the run game today against the running team of the San Francisco 49ers. Mike Gesicki, run away. Go elsewhere.
Jay's asking about Zay. Ladies and gentlemen, and Samaje Perine and Jeff Wilson Jr. He asked which one of those guys should he start this week.
There's a lot of these Perine questions, and my answer is going to remain the same. It looks like Mixon's probably going to be out. There still has been no concussion protocol clearance, even though he's practiced. It's saying he's a long shot to play, and with everything the concussion's been going through. So if that's the case, I think the answer is easy here. I think it's Perine. You got to just love the volume and opportunity of the running back in an offense like Cincinnati, who's getting Jamar, or who's is Jamar Chase playing? We don't know. It's still questionable, but it looks like he's going to play. He's expected to play. They're going to get another weapon back. I even though it's Kansas City, their defense is not great. I would lean Perine here with no Mixon. Obviously, if Mixon plays, that changes. I would go Zay Jones, but no Mixon. Perine is clearly the answer for me.
Yeah, I like it in that order of priority. P. Ryan, then Zay, and then Jeff.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I'm on board with that as well.
By the way,
thing.
Oh, go ahead. You finished the Mixon thought.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, this is completely off topic. So go. That's why.
I was just gonna say the Mixon thing has been a head scratcher for me as well. I was going to bring up a question earlier that I had because in our matchup, Aaron, you and I, our big showdown, I have Joe Mixon in my flex. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to take the chance. And it's situational. Like we said earlier, certain things come with you have to think about your situation. You have to think about your matchup. And sure, I would love to have Joe Mixon. I would love to take the risk of having Joe Mixon in my lineup and then go with someone else. But in my matchup against you, it's a very big time matchup. Our first round bye is on the line. I don't care. Joe Mixon's on my bench because he's got the 4:00 game. I don't have anyone else to fill. It's either Joe Mixon or I wait on Joe Mixon and start Michael Gallup instead, or I go with a Traylon Burks or a Darius Slayton. That's where I'm at right now in my decision. Either way, Joe Mixon is going to be on my bench today against Aaron. That's where that.
Well,
go ahead.
You say that, but if Joe Mixon played, you would play him.
Yeah, and actually, as I look at it now, and I just realized Michael Gallup has the night game, I'll probably put Joe Mixon back in my lineup and then wait on Michael Gallup.
About? Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about?
That's
Anyways, you're just so nervous and emotional when it comes to your own matchup because you're scared.
Correct.
Because
very big matchup, you and I. Very big
matchup.
But
yeah, and by the way, Jay, go Cowboys! I love it. A Cowboy fan here. That's what we're going to take care of business on Sunday night. He said, I have Pittman against my boys. You're like me. You'll take him on your team, but you ain't rooting for him. But I wanted to talk about the Jets running back situation because the update came out earlier that it's going to be all 4 running backs today and that they're all going to get touches.
And then all 4 can be on your bench.
Stay away, guys. Don't start a Jets running back. Don't do it. If you are, you're literally throwing darts. You're saying, I have to do this, and I'm praying. Because I don't trust any of those 4 running backs. I would have rather had them just say, oh, no, we're only activating this player. Like with all 4 active and all 4 going to get opportunities, I'm staying away. So
that does it, though. That does it for our starts and our sits. If you missed a single bit of it, most of these players were listed and talked about earlier on in our week as well. They're in beautiful shorts that are available on our TikTok page and our YouTube page at the Sack City Pod. Let's start riding the stream. Let's go into streaming defense. That's right.
Oh, shit.
Has it not been good?
Hey, guys. How are you? It's like when I bet. Everything that should happen does not happen. It could be lined up beautifully for everything to go the right way, and then it doesn't. Last week, I gave you the Indianapolis Colts, and Mr. Pickett decided to play very, very well and make me look stupid. But this week, I got your back. I've been all in on this game. You've heard me talk about the quarterback as a start of the week. You heard me talk about picking up their tight end because he's got a good setup. So we're also going to go with their defense, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. They are up against a team that's just waiting to go on vacation. That's all it is. They are up against the Rams, who are going to be out of Matt Stafford, out of Cooper Kupp, out of Allen Robinson. Tyler Higbee doesn't get targets. Bryce Perkins may play a little. John Wofford may play a little. Hell, Sean McVay may play some quarterback today. I like the Seattle Seahawks defense today. I think that this one will get me back on track and get me going the right direction in the playoffs. I will not let you down today. And I probably just went too strong, which means I probably will. So, Seattle Seahawks, put them in your lineup. That's the streaming defense. I think Vinny likes that play, don't you?
Hey, man, you do you. I liked it before you said it. Now you said it, and I don't like it anymore. That's where I'm at. I don't like it anymore. I'm starting Seattle. I literally have it in that matchup we just talked about. And I'm probably going to put it in the San Francisco 49ers defense in my matchup because I don't like it anymore.
I'm never starting Seattle. Never starting Seattle's defense ever. Ew.
Okay. I don't know what you want me to do with that.
No, ew. And
now for your sleeper of the week.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I get to do it because I'm right. Because I'm the one picking the sleeper of the week. And last week, I hit again, Quez Watkins. It's what I've been doing. I've been giving you guys sleepers each and every week. And, I mean, it's what I do. This is what I do. If you're in that deep league and you're like, man, I need a player that's going to drop me double-digit points. Nobody's got him on the team. He's on no rosters, but I need double-digit points. I got your back. So today, we've been talking a lot about Deebo Samuel. Today, my double-digit player is Jawan Jennings, and I think it's going to be back-to-back weeks with that injury from the 49ers. Only 5% rostered and only started in 1% of sleeper leagues. Jawan Jennings for the 49ers against a Miami team that I do believe will be able to score points, even though it's against this 49ers defense. Jawan Jennings, double-digit fantasy points again. He has only done that twice this season, once in week 1 and once last week. I think it happens again with the limited playing time of Deebo Samuel. Maybe he doesn't play at all. Who knows? Either way, he gets in the end zone. Jawan Jennings, double-digit fantasy points, my sleeper of the week.
You hit last week. You hit last week with the sleeper, and you won me money last week with your sleeper last. So, but I don't know if I'm going to put an anytime touchdown down on Jawan Jennings, but I don't think that's the thing.
I didn't say anything about anytime touchdown. I just said he can get a touchdown. Double-digit points.
Double-digit points for one Jawan Johnson.
Like people don't realize, like he sees targets. Like he gets at least 3 or 4 targets a game, and they're usually impactful targets. I think he can find his way to double digits today.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's switch it over to let's talk some DFS now. Let's talk some DFS again. If you are watching, be sure to drop your lineup decisions in the chat. We do appreciate that. But yeah, let's talk DFS here. Let's talk bargain plays. Let's talk let's talk bargain plays. Let's talk perfect lineup stacks, players to avoid, all that good stuff. Let's start off with players. So let's start off with players to avoid. Aaron, who do you have as a player to avoid today in DFS?
Yeah, for me, it's Miles Sanders. Look, Miles Sanders had a really nice game last week, but we have to temper those expectations. He's still only playing about 50 to 60% of the snaps, which is fine for that offense because he still gets double-digit touches. 21 carries was his second most on the season. He only had 20 carries one other time this year, and that was that game against Jacksonville in that sloppy, rainy game where he also had his second biggest day. This is a different animal when you're going against that Tennessee front. The Tennessee run defense is stout. They're very good against the run. They're 5th best against for fantasy points allowed to the running back position. I think there's going to be more throwing in this game from the Eagles. So you're going to have to temper your expectations here on Miles Sanders. And the price point is not great. So even if you thought, okay, I think Miles Sanders is going to have a great day here, it's still $6,300 to play him. And it's just not a price that I'm willing to pay for a guy that I think is going to be having limited upside in a matchup like this. So I'm avoiding Miles Sanders today in DFS and going elsewhere, spending that money in different positions or running back that has better value.
Okay. Yeah. You know, I like that one.
For me, I am staying away from Isaiah Pacheco. 5,700. I think there's some other good running backs in that price point that you can look for. He doesn't get any work in the passing game. And I think they're going to be passing a little bit more against a high-powered offense like Kansas City. I know we can't say exactly what happened last year is going to happen again this year with Cincinnati against Kansas City, but I do think they have enough of an offense to make the Kansas City Chiefs need to pass the ball a little bit more heavy. I would stay away from Isaiah Pacheco and Daly at 5,700 on DraftKings.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about the players we're looking at. We got our eyes on as those best value picks. Aaron, who's your best value pick today?
My best value pick is it's Michael Gallup, 4,600 Sunday night game, and you have Stephon Gilmore, who I don't know if he'll follow CD. CD moves around a lot, but I do think that's the toughest matchup. And CD's the best Cowboys receiver, so I would assume Stephon Gilmore wants that matchup. Now, how much he's been following receivers this year, I'm not really sure. But regardless, Michael Gallup started to come on last week. And we just talked about it. It's a Sunday night game. They're playing the Colts. his snap percentage is going to be at 8 targets, 5 catches, 63 yards. I think there's a chance he finds the end zone here soon. He is a really big red zone threat, but I still think he's been working his way back. I think he's fine. He was sick earlier this week, but they say he's questionable play, but he expects to play. Give me Michael Gallup. I think it's a good value. You're not spending too much on him. You're going to be looking for a wide receiver in that price range anyways, more than likely. I think 4,600 is a nice price value there. To kind of give it a comparison, guys like Bam Knight is also 4,600. And that the guy's going to be in a 4 running back by committee at the same price point. I'd much rather have Michael Gallup, who I know is going to be on the field for a significant portion of snaps. So give me Michael Gallup as the best value.
AJ.
My best value is going to be a guy we just talked about at length. Give me Garrett Wilson at 5,300 against the Minnesota defense that has been leaky, I guess. Has some holes in it here and there. Since week 6, we've had 8 receivers score 15 points, fantasy points against Minnesota. We just talked about what Garrett Wilson's been able to do with Mike White and a quarterback that not named Zach Wilson, what he did last week. I think he's a good matchup, and at 5,300, great play in your lineup today.
All right, I love Garrett Wilson this week. I love actually both those picks. I think they're good picks. Lots of values out there. Lots of expensive players that shouldn't be really expensive players. But let's set the stage, John. Let's set the stage here. Let's set the perfect lineup. Let's win some people money here. Aaron, set the perfect lineup.
My perfect lineup is as you can see on the screen. It includes a stack of Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk against Detroit. You get a little bit cheaper there. Get to spend up elsewhere. I like Nick Chubb against Houston for 8,000. Spend up there against one of the worst run defense. So I'm okay spending the 8,000 there. Brian Robinson against the Giants. A banged up Antonio Gibson. I think Brian Robinson is the lead back there today. Again, hopefully he finds the end zone. But if he doesn't, you're going to be hurting there. But I do think he can get into the end zone. Maybe he gets a little bit of uptick in volume in the pass game because there's no J.D. McKissick, and maybe Antonio Gibson just is banged up a little bit too much. So Brian Robinson there. I do like Terry McLaurin also in that game. I think Terry McLaurin against the Giants. I think Washington has a good day here. Giants have been struggling. They have a bunch of injuries on that defensive side of the football. We saw what Dallas was able to do in the second half. George Pickens, we talked about earlier, against Atlanta in that secondary at 5,100. Robert Tonyan against Chicago, 3,200, kind of a more of a sleeper tight end here. I think he can get involved. A.J. Brown is my flex. I spent up there against that revenge game against Tennessee, allowing the most pass yards, pass completions, pass receptions, everything in that secondary. And then the Steelers defense against Atlanta. Atlanta likes to run the ball a lot. They're not a high-volume offense. I think that game is quickly moving, and there's not a lot of chances for Atlanta to go and score points throughout that game. Pittsburgh played pretty well the other day against Indianapolis. I'd like them again here for 2,600, a nice value play there. So perfect lineup, go win you some money. Last week, my perfect lineup did really well. Just saying, did really well. Won me some money in some DFS tournaments. So jump on board because I'm winning.
All aboard the perfect lineup from Mr. Aaron Mukes. Let's talk about this question real quick before we get into yours, AJ. Standard League. Dameon Pierce, DeAndre Swift, Bam Bigelow, Zonovan Knight, AJ Dillon. Which one are you starting?
Pierce, not close.
Yep. Should have a good day against Cleveland's D. I agree.
Dameon Pierce here, Standard League, get you a touchdown. That's what you'll need.
AJ, we've got a defense question here for you.
I think I'm going to go Steelers D. They've been hyping up since TJ Watt's been back. We just talked about they're running the ball in Atlanta. Steelers D is pretty decent against the run. I think I go Steelers D. The Bucs D is great, but that Saints game just has so much stink all over it when it's Tampa Bay versus New Orleans.
Take the defense that can have the big day. The Steelers sacks. TJ Watt could have a 3-4 sack game. Minka Fitzpatrick on the back end, pick 6. You never know. I'm taking the defense that has the more upside. I go Steelers.
All right. AJ, let's talk your perfect lineup. What's it looking like?
Yeah, found some decent stacks here as well that I like. I'm normally a 3-person stack, and I got one with Justin Herbert and then paired him up with my running back, Austin Eckler. Good matchups to me against Las Vegas, even though it is a division game and it may be tough. I like what they have available. Just talked about Dameon Pierce against the Cleveland run defense. He should have himself a good day. And at 5,900, I like that price. Keenan Allen, the number one target for my QB. Christian Watson, 6 touchdowns over the last 3 games at 5,200 against the Chicago defense that was once upon a time better in that secondary than they have been as late. They just had some more pieces in that secondary go down. I think Christian Watson can have himself a good day. Treylon Burks, just because he's the number one receiver. I know Philadelphia's secondary is great. I've raved about them all season, but I think he's going to have some opportunities, and I know his points were a little inflated last week with that fumble that he picked up in the end zone. But at 4,600, I'll take a stab on the number one receiver. Talked a little bit about Noah Fant earlier at 3,000. That's a good matchup against the Rams defense, who's allowed some points to tight ends over the last month. In my flex, Garrett Wilson, we talked about him as one of my best value plays. And then at 3,600, the Seahawks defense going on the other end against a Rams offense that has no weaponry whatsoever, in my opinion, this week.
All right. That's your perfect lineup. Get those lineups going in your DFS plays. Win some money today. But it comes down to this. It comes down to our draft showdown here. We're talking DFS. We're talking our big time showdown. Aaron took the dub last week.
Again,
stretching
won like 3 straight weeks.
His lead. He's stretching his league. It does not feel good. But today's different. Today's different. I'm coming for the crown. You get to decide the draft order, Aaron. What's it gonna be?
Well, I'm going first. You're going second, and AJ's going third.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go.
Let's do it. Order. And surprise, surprise, surprise. The number one pick is number 87, catching balls from number 15. It's Travis Kelce. Give me Travis Kelce at 7,900. I don't understand this. I don't understand how anybody doesn't have Travis Kelce as your tight end in your lineup each and every week. The disparity between him and every other tight end is not close. It's insane. Give me Travis Kelce. I will live if he has a dud. I don't care. Travis Kelce, my number one pick, 7,900. Put it on the board.
You said that's what it would be on Friday's show, and it is in fact that. I will stick with someone I've been riding with for a little bit now. I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson. That'll be my pick. I have one player, like I've set what I hope to be my lineup right now, and I look at it and I see if there's one person if I don't get, I'd be upset. It'd be Garrett Wilson. I got to make sure Garrett Wilson's in my lineup.
Yippity doo dah, yippity day.
And you son of a bitch.
There's one pick in. It's one pick.
I know, like y'all act like y'all gonna get your whole team. Like this is crazy. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I will start at the top. Give me my Austin Eckler, and give me my other running back, Damian Pierce.
I will go with give me a little Nick Chubb.
Thank you, guys. I will take my stack, Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk.
I will give me you guys know I love doing this. I love going with a defense early. No, I'm not going to go with the defense early this time around. Give me Keenan Allen.
You're just annoying. Nobody likes you.
Have my lineup set for days, buddy.
Yeah, I will still take Justin Herbert with the Austin Eckler, and give me. Let me get a little. I'll go ahead and put in Christian Watson while I figure out my next move.
I will go with give me the Muth, Pat Freiermuth.
The Muth.
The Muth.
I will be taking George Pickens.
Oh, I was like, no.
I will take George Pickens, and I will also take Joshua Palmer.
I will. You know what? I'll do it. You, Aaron, you sold me on him. I'll go Terry McLaurin.
Damn, I didn't even sell anybody. I just said Terry McLaurin should have a nice day. Jesus.
Hey, that was enough. That's all I needed.
All right. Give me George Kittle as my tight end, and I need to. I'll go ahead and grab my Seahawks. I'm riding with him.
gross.
I am on the clock. Yeah, that's definitely something that I have to add here. I will go with I got to go with my other running back here. That's the route I'm going to take. You know what? Give me. Oh goodness gracious! I hate this part of the show. This is the worst part of the show every day.
Man, make your pick, you guys.
Man, shut the fuck up.
I set my lineup. I set my lineup
your
already.
bitch ass up.
I should have all the
Hey, when some picks go away, when some picks go away, you got to pivot. You got to pivot. And that's what I'm doing right here.
Difficult. It's not that difficult.
That's what, bitch. Shut up with your punk ass bitch ass.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard.
It is that hard. Every day it is that hard. Every day it is that hard. My life is hard. I go through daily struggles. All right, I will just say fuck it, and I will go with my quarterback position, and I will go with give me Dak Prescott.
Did somebody take Zay Jones?
No.
But
it's not your turn. Now I will.
Do it. You won't.
Actually, I might. I will take my 2 running backs here. My lineup's going to stay the same because nobody takes. Actually, I'll take my defense first. I'll take the Rams defense first, and I'm also going with Kyren Williams in that game.
I will go with give me Jamal Williams.
All right, give me Zay Jones and Tyler Boyd.
I will take the Commanders defense.
Yo, Commanders. My last 2 picks. I'm taking Elijah Moore for 3,700 against Minnesota. And my last pick is none other than my dog, Josh Jacobs, against the Chargers. And if he doesn't play, then I'll pick somebody else there. But he should play because he's a dog.
That's a great pick. With my last pick, I'm hoping this guy can become a favorite name. I'm hoping this guy can become someone. If he has a good week today, maybe it will happen. And I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna say fuck it. I don't care. Give me the beast from the East. Give me Bam Bam Bigelow Zonovan Knight.
All right.
Okay.
And lastly, because I always do it, why not stay true to form? Plus, I had no money. 4,100. Give me what?
You say you always do it. I said make a bad pick.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Dalton Schultz at 4,100. Let's ride. Yeah.
Aaron, go back on your team. Read it back.
All right, my team is Trevor Lawrence at the quarterback position, Josh Jacobs, Kyren Williams against that poor Seattle run defense. He's been seeing the snap share like him today. Christian Kirk for my Trevor Lawrence Kirk stack against Detroit. Josh Palmer, everybody loves Keenan. I'll take the guy that's not seeing the double coverages and all the attention. George Pickens against Atlanta, same situation there. I think A.J. Terrell is mostly on Deontay Johnson. Travis Kelce, because he's the Lord and Savior's favorite son. Elijah Moore on a little dart throw play against Minnesota, who's not a great pass defense. And Mike White loves Garrett Wilson, but he also found Elijah Moore last week. And then the Rams defense, I think, is a sneaky defensive play because they're playing Seattle. Seattle's offense has been good, but Rams played pretty tough against the Chiefs last week on the road. I think they have a nice home game here. Give me the Rams defense.
AJ? Oh, hey, it's me anyway. You can go ahead.
Quarterback Justin Herbert, put him together with running back Austin Eckler. Give me the man in Houston running the ball, Dameon Pierce. Looking for Zay Jones to have himself another good day. Christian Watson to have another good day. Tyler Boyd, hopefully he can sneak in there and grab one of them deep touchdowns. Give me George Kittle against the Miami Dolphins. Double tight end flex Dalton Schultz, and my Seahawks defense for the day.
I had Dak Prescott, Nick Chubb, Jamal Williams, Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, Pat Freiermuth. I went with Zonovan Knight and the Washington Commanders defense. That does it. Let's answer Mo Diesel's question before we head on out. Pick a defense: Packers, Vikings, Giants, Jags, Falcons. Pick a defense.
Oh man. Ew.
Yeah. The Giants?
I don't like any of those defenses. I think you got to go the Vikings defense, as sad as it sounds.
Just hope Mike White does. Yeah, you gotta hope Mike.
I mean, it's the Jets offense. That's the only thing you can. That's the only because you take. I mean, the second would be, I guess, the Packers playing the Bears. But ew. I'm sorry, Mo Diesel. Look, I'm trying to help, man. This is tough. Not great matchups here. If I had to choose one, I'm probably choosing the Vikings against the Jets, and trusting that Mike White can't do it 2 days in a row.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope. I'd also, as I picked the Commanders in my DFS, I was thinking about that being more of a good option there. The Commanders defense has been good as of late, and they're facing the Daniel Jones who can turn the ball over. Maybe get lucky there. But out of these, I think I would lean the Vikings as well. You're hoping for the Mike White turnover. That does it though. AJ, you on board with that, or are you picking someone else?
I said the Giants, but I mean the Vikings obviously is also a great play too. So, of this,
no, don't co-sign my pick. We know you in streaming defenses. Don't co-sign my pick.
What that kind of helps us answer the question, because AJ said the Giants. That means you have to go away from AJ's streaming defense and go with the Vikings, because that was the two. Just for shits and giggies as we round out the show. Just for fun. Is all of our college football playoff rankings the same? Georgia, Michigan, TCU, Ohio State.
Mine is pretty easy. It's Georgia and everybody else. I watch them play a lot this year. No, I've been before I moved to Georgia. I was calling it last year. No, really, yeah, Georgia and everybody else. But I do agree. I think it's Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and Ohio State. I think TCU's loss hurt, but I don't think it hurts enough. One loss, played for a conference title game, shouldn't be penalized for playing an extra game, and it went into overtime and they lost at the end. No different than Bama losing 2 close games at the end. I think you give it to TCU, even though I do think the better matchup would be Bama, Georgia. I do think Bama would give Georgia more fits because it's Bama and they got Bryce Young.
Yeah, I agree. Real quick though, let's help XYN out real quick. Just want to let you know, yes, of course, you can answer that question, or you can drop that question. We're always here for you. Welcome back, by the way. First time you were last week, back again this week.
Next time you do this, put the question in the question that you're asking. Can I get another question? Because technically, you just asked the question. Does that make sense?
You're the worst.
Now we got to wait for him to type the question, and then YouTube is delayed.
While we do wait for that, AJ, were you on board with that CFP that Aaron just had? I know you want FSU in it, but
Florida State Seminoles, baby.
Where they deserve to be. Yeah, I think that is the correct one.
Najee Harris, Jeff Wilson Jr., half PPR, Michael Pittman Jr., Garrett Wilson, full PPR.
I like it. There you go. Put 2 questions in one. Now you're learning, Zen. All right, cool. For me, it's Najee and Wilson. Is this the same Wilson?
Right. I was about to say, is it Jeff?
Is that Garrett Wilson, or is that the same Jeff Wilson?
Yeah.
See, now I finally put a name on it and not assume that it's not say, I don't know what Andrew.
There's a difference between Garrett Wilson and who you were talking about earlier. Andrews. Who else in the
outside of Mark Andrews? I could literally only think about David Andrews, who plays the line.
That's true. That's fair.
I think the answer is Najee Harris and
same Wilson. I thought he said some Wilson. I was like, some Wilson, big one.
That one's tougher. Pittman doesn't have a great matchup going against Trayvon Diggs tonight either, and that Cowboys defense. As crazy as it sounds, man, I almost might take Jeff Wilson against that Niners defense. I think you got to go Michael Pittman, but
Najee and Pittman for me.
Full PPR, you got to go Najee and Pittman.
Yeah,
but don't be mad. Don't hold because I'm telling you, I sneaky play would be Jeff Wilson. But I think the safer play is Michael Pittman. Najee and Michael Pittman, that's what I'm going to go with.
I agree.
That's a lot tougher. That full PPR question's a lot tougher.
clean sweep on that one, and like he says in the chat, starting 2 tackles for Miami or Alex Day, that matters a lot as well. Najee Harris, Michael Pittman Jr. clean sweep, because, and I said this to myself earlier when I was looking through DFS, I was about to put Michael Pittman in my lineup, and I was like, I'm not going to do this again. I'm not going to disrespect Trayvon Diggs like that again and pick another wide receiver to go up against him and then get burned. But for fantasy purposes and in this context, in this question, give me Michael Pittman and Najee Harris. And my college football playoff, I think, Aaron, you were right. But I think if I'm predicting what it's going to end up being, I think it's Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, TCU. I think Ohio State jumps TCU, and they give you Michigan, Ohio State in the what is it, the Cotton Bowl, or not the Cotton Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, whichever one it is. I think that's what the committee wants.
Oh, in the order, yeah. Then maybe I didn't really. I was
you're good. You're good.
Thought in. But yeah, I could see that. I don't love it, but I guess I could see that.
Lucky Bird Light asks Kenneth Walker or Saquon Barkley. Is it okay to assume it's Kenneth Walker, right? Or do I go
first
with
of all,
Darren?
What, Quay Walker?
Quay Walker. Is there another Walker?
Linebacker?
I almost went Darren Waller, but then I realized it's not
first of all, Lucky Bird Light, congratulations. Because if you have a decision between Ken Walker and Saquon Barkley, you're doing pretty well for yourself.
Right.
I don't know that I would love picking between these two guys, but I'm going to go Ken Walker today.
Yeah, I think the Washington Commanders have been sneaky against the run. I would go Ken Walker over Barkley as well.
That does it for another episode of the Sack City Podcast. Do you guys want to stick around?
I am going to the game, so I am going to leave. I am going
also
to
leaving.
Yeah, I'm going to leave. I'm going to the Falcons and the Steelers, and go see some George Pickens. It's got him in my DFS lineup today for that reason, and gonna go
roll up to him, show him your lineup.
I will. As a matter of fact, I will have my DFS lineup on my phone, and I will see if I can get it. Show him that I got him in my line. I will try.
It just hit me. You know how I think of the most ridiculous things when talking about how someone's going to be a good play or a bad play? George Pickens, hometown game.
Yes,
returning to Georgia.
So last night he was there. Last night he was there. We were on the sideline. I tried to get close to him. I tried to because
and then he was like, "Get the fuck away from me!"
No. The SEC championship, they rope off a lot of stuff for like the media. Like they don't allow certain spots because they had like Tim Tebow and the crew and all that. But he was talking to Frank Beamer from South Carolina, and so we were trying to get over there. And I was gonna tell him like, "Hey, my boy, like he loves you and he thinks you're the best receiver in the rookie class." But we didn't. But
next time,
cool.
Next time, today.
No, today.
Yeah, I expect you to just roll up to them.
In warm-ups, I'll just walk through their huddle in warm-ups, and I'll just say, "Hey, excuse me."
Exactly. That's probably the best thing to do. If not that, when they're all going, like entering the game, like from the tunnel or leaving, just wait. Be like, hey, stand right in the middle. And be like, Mr. Pickens,
the badge. I'll flash
Mr.
the badge.
Pickens,
hey,
sir?
I drove here in the Wall wagon. I'm with the Wall. Can you get he knows what we are?
I'm a big deal. I'm a big deal. All right. That does it, though, for another episode of Pigskin and Pancakes. We'll be back again live tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, bringing you our fantasy recap from Sunday's action and so much more. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Let us know what you think of the show. Drop your comments. If you drop your fantasy comments in this video later on, we'll still be able to answer it. So just do that as well. But yeah, tune in tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. For my best friend, Aaron Mukes. For your boy, AJ Johnson. I am me. We'll see you tomorrow.
Peace out.
Holla. Holla, holla.